Good afternoon, everybody. It is 1300, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on this Wednesday, the 12th of September, 2018. For those of you on the East Coast, I hope you are staying safe. There's a big, nasty storm on that coming that way. So please be careful, be smart, folks. Don't, I live in the Midwest. When we get tornadoes, we get a little bit of a heads up now. I've seen plenty of tornadoes, and during the day, if they show up, it's funny because the sirens go off, and then it's weird. You see more people, including myself. We go outside to look where it's at, as opposed to finding shelter. But if it's dark out, don't want to mess with the tornadoes. But you don't get as much of a heads up as you get for like a hurricane. I mean, a hurricane, you get like a week. I mean, you get a pretty good idea of where it's going and then when it's going to hit you. I mean, so be smart. Don't let modern technology go to waste. Anyways, okay, so yesterday we were talking about lows in Cardano and how I liked that a lot. Actually bought a bit up yesterday, added a little bit late last night. Same with XLM, basic attention token, and what else? I can't remember. But anyways, want to take a look at Ethereum. We put a link in the Telegram not too long ago here. It was an idea I did last night. And where is that? Right here. I wrote, and thus appeared the most important price level for Ethereum. And here's all the reasons why. If you want to read that, you can. You're more than welcome to. It's a public trade idea. Oops, remove any web addresses and try again. What? Why can't I do that? Okay, well, anyways, that's weird. Well, let's take a look at Ethereum's chart and see what we've got going on here. Was this the chart I wanted? No, I wanted the... There we are. Here we go. Okay, so this is Ethereum's chart. I want to go to the 4 hour. And this is really where we're trading it. This is the make or break zone. This is like the final stand. I think I wrote that this is the Alamo. This is Thermopylae. Whatever kind of other last stand thing you want to go with, that is where we're sitting at. And that's because there are, depending on how you set your price levels, whether you're using those musical harmonics or flat divisions of 8 between a high and a low extreme, or square numbers, whatever you're using, there are 8 harmonics that are represented in price. And if I go to the weekly here, we can see that in Ethereum, from dark line to dark line, this is a full 8 harmonics. So the one down here is 0.8. 0.8 is like it's done, or it's returned back to a value of nothing. And then right above that is the 1/8 major harmonics. Now, to understand how these work is that, like, each line, they're color coded. Actually, I borrowed the color coding idea from a simplified Gann system called the Murray system, but I kept the colored lines. And I mean Gann used harmonic levels, and you can convert harmonic levels they can be converted into the color spectrum, and they can be converted into the sound spectrum. So when we convert things into the color spectrum, that's where these colors come from. But or the is it the color spectrum or light spectrum? Sorry, that's the more official one. But anyways, so each one of these lines, they all have one thing in common. All right, that is each level should be the hardest to pass on the chart. So the difference being that this middle 4/8 harmonic and the one up above here, between all of this price range, between the high and the low here, this middle line is the hardest line for price to penetrate, above or below. But then each major harmonic itself is its own very strong support and resistance zone. So the 4/8 is the strongest one, and then the yellow harmonic zones, they represent kind of the same thing, just at different values. These price levels are price levels that are indicative of being in an extreme, almost like an oscillator. So when prices are trading above here, this is considered an extremely overbought market. And when they're trading down here, this is considered an extremely oversold market. And then the red lines, so this is the 2/8. So we have the yellow is the 1/8. This red is the 2/8. And then this is the 6/8. So the even numbers, the 2, 4, and 6. So this is the 4/8 up here. This is a strong natural pivot, okay? When you should see the most rejection on long time frames and the most support, like very, very fast responsive support and resistance against these red horizontal price levels. A good example of that would probably be what we had trading down here when prices came down to this 361.75. That was a major support level, and then obviously did not hold. And in fact, it's weird that, well, anyways, the yellow lines, like we were saying, so this is considered an extremely oversold market when prices are trading down here. If they're coming, it's different if prices are coming up to this line, then it has a different behavior. But because prices are coming down to it, then we view this entire range around this price level of 180, 138 as the most oversold in our entire chart here. Now, I don't want to read for verbatim what I had written on the trade idea, but 1/8 major harmonic is the last major harmonic. Okay, between the only important price level between 180, 138 and the value of 0 is the $1. that's the next most important level that you don't want to cross. But otherwise, on a long-term time frame, this is a level that we do want to hold as value and see some responsive buying off of. Okay, 1/8 major harmonic, last major harmonic on the chart. Below this price level is weaker and weaker support. In fact, there's really no major support below here. But this price level does represent a bottom. The support structure here is pretty massive. And I wrote, never mind Vitalik Buterin's, Vitalik, or however you pronounce that dude's name. I don't know. They have bad pictures of him. I feel like he should wash his hair or something. I don't mean to sound crass, but it's like the guy just woke up out of bed like a college freshman. Just like, okay, I'm going to go do this thing. I guess that's a sign of genius. His baseless comments that crypto markets are never seeing exponential growth again. So he had said that the cryptocurrency market will never see 1,000x returns again. I don't know why people put a lot of faith into what he says about price action, because that's really not his profession. He is a pioneer in blockchain technology and all of that. But when it comes to price action and trading, he's as knowledgeable about it. I'm assuming, just because I've never seen anything about him discussing technical analysis really beyond just the price itself. I don't know why people are assuming that just because he is the creator of Ethereum, then that means he knows what investors and how markets work. So he I don't know, maybe he does, but nothing that I've read or heard from him has ever made me think that. So And I don't mean to criticize somebody who's way more important. But anyways, cryptocurrencies, they're a new asset. This is an established asset class. It's not going anywhere. They are, now that things like Ethereum and Bitcoin, now that they have a price chart like this and they've been traded and established, this is like a birth. Okay, this is like treat a chart like a stock chart like it's a birth, and that until it's extinguished, this thing will continue to grow. That is just the nature of a market with this instrument, is that until it's no longer live, this thing will just continue to grow. So there are behaviors and patterns that follow. So, never mind what he said. Because these are now an asset class and they have a price chart, Ethereum is a slave to the same constant and consistent patterns of time as the thousands of years of grain markets that we have. Okay, we have price history. We have price history of rice, maize, going back a millennia and longer, and the cycles are pretty much. Actually, they're not pretty much. They're the same. They have not changed. This is a constant in nature. So the thing is that because this is such a new market and it's such a brand new field, and it's only 10 years old as far as chart trading goes, what that means is this hasn't even entered into a nascent stage yet. Okay, the exponential growth has not yet started. Okay, that's why when I heard this guy say that you'll never see these 1000x returns, and I don't think he literally meant the 1000x, but he talking about the exponential growth that we see year over year. Why not? There is so much money on the sidelines that to say that is just kind of ludicrous if you think about it. To suggest that this market has developed a maturity to find some equilibrium and stagnancy and a range to trade in over a long period of time, talking 10, 20-year period. No, that has not even begun to happen yet. This is kind of like this is like looking at Microsoft's chart when it was 3 years old. All right, this is nothing. Years down the road, we're probably never going to remember this. Well, actually, yeah, we will remember this, but these prices will laugh about them. So, never mind the continued negative news and the fear in this market. When all you hear is fear. Now, I wrote this article 19 hours ago, and it was right before this article came out. It wasn't right before. It was like 12 hours before this. This was on Bloomberg. This was on Fortune. It's now it's all over the place. You've probably seen it and heard it. That the cryptocurrency crash. Oh my gosh! Remember I was talking about yesterday how if I hear the grocer talking about like how something's like way overdone, then I know I'm buying. When I saw this news article this morning when I woke up, I was like, oh God, that's the most bullish news I've ever heard. Okay. The cryptocurrency market has now beat the historical performance of an index in the most bearish index market in recent memory, and that was the Nasdaq's 78% crash during the dot-com bubble. All right. So we have exceeded that in cryptocurrencies, and if you, and I think you can really compare the Nasdaq as far as how the Nasdaq operates and moves and jumps around. I think that is more similar to how cryptocurrencies move, but the Nasdaq, I don't know. I feel like it's gained a lot since then, which it has. So again, if something's trading at an 80% discount from its all-time high, I feel like I'd be a big idiot for not wanting to participate in here. This is like a no-brainer. Anyways, never mind the continued negative news of this market when all you hear is fear, frustration, anger, and regret. Take notice. There are new and veteran traders in this market who have gone through significant emotional trauma and psychological hell in this market. Some have looked at their portfolios every day and watched it whittle away to go lower and lower and lower. Some look at the balance of their wallets on their phone constantly. You're probably looking at it and whenever you have a free moment and you're just getting more upset, like you got a pit in your stomach, or you just want to punch something or hit someone or yell. And some have converted, maybe too late, to being a shorter now, where they want to short the rallies all the time, and then they've gotten to be drunk on these short profits that happen very quickly. And some have been advocates of cryptocurrencies, and now they're opponents because they've been hurt so bad. It's like, I don't know. You do it to yourself. That's ultimately what it is. However, what I'm saying here is that there is a strong probability that we are at the market bottom in Ethereum. And the thing is I can safely say that because if this is not the market bottom, then we enter into a phase that I've never actually traded in, and that is in one where you face an extinction zone, where it just kind of goes defunct, like a stock that is no longer being publicly traded, or just it's disappears. That would be the kind of thing we'd be looking at, but there's nothing in the realm of anything that says that's happening. So this is a very strong support zone. And why? Well, I listed some of the reasons. Is that we have come down to yearly lows in our market, and those yearly lows have come right on top of the 1/8 major harmonic. There's a Gann arc as a support zone in here. There's a 6/8 pivot in time, not on this chart, but on Bitcoin's chart, and this is probably the time cycle here is really important. If you remember, I've been talking about this that I said on Monday or yesterday that within the next before or after, give or take a few days before and after the next 7 trading days, is when we should see a major spike up. Just following the mirrored foldback pattern and the fact that we have a pivot in time here. Oh, what the frack? Did I totally miss that there's a... Oh, no, I didn't. Never mind. Holy shit, yeah, there is. Well, I'll come back to this if I remember what I'm talking about. Okay, so then we have in the square of 144, the square of 144. If we look at Ethereum's chart, there is a supportive Gann angle in that we're trading above now. This on the short term was the angle I didn't want to see us break below, but we've broken below, and we haven't really had any strong evidence of it wanting to close below this angle. If this sucker holds, that's a big freaking deal. So this Gann angle is acting as a strong support zone as well. And then, structurally, we have a parabolic fall. All right, this is the definition of a parabolic move, and parabolic moves always, if there's one thing in the market that seems to happen 100% of the time, is that parabolic moves always are met with a parabolic response. So the inverse action of the last 7 to 8 trading days we will observe as soon as this is finally done. And then what we have finally is the 225-day cycle. We discussed that last night, and that is prices trading within that cycle. Gann wrote about that cycle, that it creates responsibilities. It's also supposed to be interpreted like the 135-day cycle, which says it can be the last low, or more typically a lower low that ends a bottoming pattern. And we always want to watch for a change in trend. and fast moves can start. So basically, what does this mean? If we compare the current swings of Bitcoin, its technicals, and those with Ethereum, we have evidence of a primary swing low. We should look for a significant rise to begin in the next 7 trading days. All markets are facing this trend change, okay? All markets are facing a violent change in trend, not just cryptos. When I was discussing the Forex Lens stuff over the last month, I have been talking about time cycles being the strongest indication of a change in the markets. And this is happening in the dollar index. The dollar index right here, we knew that there was a change happening because, we had an uptrending market from 192-day cycle, the beginning to the end of it. We were trading from a low to a high. That means that the greatest probability is that we move from this high to a swing low. And that is something that we see operating right here. You're right within the change of a new time cycle. We see prices reach the top and are now selling off and continuing to show that selling pressure. We are right up against a pivot in time, which we'll see what happens. But this is the dollar index. This is basically the dollar index is telling us how powerful is the dollar. How is the dollar's performance compared to everybody else? So right now, obviously, we're looking at a daily chart. We can see that right now the dollar is weak, and thank God, because everything else has been in kind of a sell-off mode. So this time cycle business is affecting all of these markets. So we see the dollar index changing. Just look at gold. Different type of cycle, but the pivot, it had a responsive low right after this pivot in time and price. This is a square of price and time. Whenever you get the same colored horizontal and vertical lines intersecting, that creates a square in time and price, and those are the most powerful trade signals on a chart, because when you see that appear, that is when big moves begin to happen. I've never seen a chart where there's an area of a square where price is trading near a square of price and time, and it doesn't have some type of drastic and a crazy action at those levels. So we see gold catching a bid, trading higher, coming off of these lows. The euro is mostly kind of flat because it's getting hit by the pound, but never mind the euro. Aussie dollar, same thing. We were trading down to a low. We're coming up against this pivot in time and price. We are like close enough to it, but as long as we're past that midway point here, we are showing that to be a strong response zone. US dollar, Canadian dollar, right on its a pivot here. We see that this is the beginning of a new 192-day cycle. This black vertical line is, and we can see that the sell-off has happened at a swing high, and that should continue to drop quite a bit. New Zealand dollar, pivot in time, square of price and time right up ahead. We have a pivot in time as well there. There's just, where do you want to begin with how time is the reason for these trend changes? Now, someone might say, well, it didn't change right on that day. But yeah, I've never really seen a chart where that happens all the time on the same day. That doesn't, just because it doesn't happen right on the day is not a sufficient enough reason to disregard time cycles. Time cycles tell us that a trend change is going to happen, but sometimes price is out of sync with time. So as a Gannist, time is the most important factor to my trading. For our Forex Lens subscribers this morning, the trades taken on the Aussie dollar and some others that we've done over the week have been solely based on time. This being around this swing high here is a perfect example of a market that can be trending or it's a culmination move. But anyways, back to Bitcoin and looking at the market in here, or rather Ethereum. Whoops. Ethereum. This is the definite make or break zone right here, and there is definite on the short term. We're seeing a pretty good indication that these, here it is, the square 52. Pretty good indication that we are creating some a really strong momentum to the top side here. You know, looking at the mirrored foldback pattern, we know that this pump up is going to happen, and it's going to be a pretty drastic rise to the top. That kind of activity is going to... There's a ton of shorts. Oh my God, I cannot believe how many new short positions have been opened on sites that allow leveraging. It is ridiculous. TradingView chat, a lot of the crypto, other crypto sites, some of the live streamers on YouTube. I was watching a whole bunch of videos last night. Everybody was saying, go short this market. It's got lower to go. I can't understand and wrap my head around why anybody would suggest to short something that's already down 80%. This is all sorts of stupid. It's just, I mean, they may be right, but where's the risk to reward here? It's to the upside. Is this a long biased market? Yeah. In the short term and the long term, definitely. I mean, I can't wrap my head around some of the bad. Now, I've made bad calls and before too, but I would never suggest to a soul that shorting something that is down 80% and is entering into its market seasonal bullish, it's bullish season and trading part of the year, and it's coming up against a bunch of bullish time cycles, and we're already trading at yearly lows or all-time lows in the altcoin market. I don't know who would be... Well, I know why they do, because that's what new traders do. Is they've been holding for so long, they get frustrated, they sell, and they decide, okay, I'm just going to join everybody in short. Well, you should have done that a long time ago. That boat has already sailed, and it's actually getting ready to dock. And if you're wanting to short, then you're one of the people who just got on the Titanic. Is it too soon to use that as a analogy? No, I think it's over 100 years. All the shorts have boarded that boat and think they're going to have a good time, and that is unfortunately not going to happen. There's not enough stops to fill all of the sinking shorts. So again, we discussed this yesterday. We were looking at this market, looking at a bottom forming, and last night's price action, since my wife has gone, actually stayed up really late watching the market and seeing the pressure, or the price action was going down on not a lot of pressure, but my God, were the people who were looking at it panicking like hell. This is going to zero. I have the whole year I've been doing this. I'm going to make a compilation video later. I've been taking my snipping tool and I've been going to the like YouTube comments, YouTube videos, forum posts, TradingView chat, highlighting areas with the date and the time and labeling them things like lol dumb bear or things like that. Because, I mean, anything where somebody says that this is going to zero or we're going to see 2K, they could be totally right and I could be way wrong. But, I mean, I'm saving all of those so I feel good later on when I'm right. I hope I'm right. I don't care, I guess, a lot about being right. I care about being right in the fact that this is a long bias market. But okay, so saying that, what do we do? Well, I buy. I get into things that are going to drive up a lot. XLM, I've been talking about XLM for a while. This has an IBM partnership. They're Ripple is stupid. Ripple is dumb. Stellar Lumens is good team. They are, they don't have a whole bunch of inflationary Stellar hanging out that can crash the market like Ripple does. Has a whole bunch of Ripple just hanging out for them to this is not good. Ripple has made some partnerships and works, but nothing like Stellar and IBM. Okay, Ripple doesn't really have anything close to that. If Ripple said something like, "Oh, Bank of America, Wells Fargo," or even some of the more important like regional banks like Fifth Third or something like that, then that would be something to go ooh ah about. But no, Stellar is in a beautiful spot. And here's the thing: you look at this chart, 4-hour chart, and you may be thinking, "Oh, I don't want to get in on this." Look at the daily chart. Looks like still a great opportunity to get in. I think it's an amazing opportunity. I actually did some this morning, and just XLM is one of those that's going to catch a big pump just because of the whole IBM thing. And once the market starts to get bullish, you're going to have all these people taking advantage of new people, trying to get them to put in new money. And, saying, XLM's a new Ripple. That's going to be big. It's going to be big regardless. But holy cow, it's at market bottoms. This is a non-scam coin. It's one of the Coinbase 5. I love XLM. And I'll just, got to go to the Telegram and just put in the I should use the BTC pair. Well, you can use the Tether. This is also the Tether pair, so that's all right. XLM's fantastic. Damn it, Nano. When Nano caught a bit of a bid, I held on to it. It came back down. I sold it at a loss this morning, and now I kind of want to get back in it. But I'll wait for a break of this high. And actually, that wouldn't be a bad. Well, what are we looking like on the 4-hour? Oh, yeah. I guess if we were to break this high here, 184, that'd be. Oh, let's put the Bitcoin pair though. At 2969. Oops. Putting that in the Telegram trade here. Nano BTC long at 0.003. 29 rather. Actually, it could go 2875. All right. Walton Chain. I'm hanging out on this one. I may re-enter this guy, but waiting still. Basic attention token. This is another one of those Coinbase 5. Want to see a break of this candle here. Look at the volume on this doji-ish candle. Very, very nice looking, but I want to see some follow through buying here and then a break of this prior high on this 4-hour candlestick from last night. This is so I want to get a break of that 2284. And my lovely, beautiful Cardano. I'm comfortable with where present value area. I don't really know where you wouldn't want to. Cardano. Let's just take a look at this guy. I am so tickled about that. I was so happy to see it take a dive. I was actually going to go to bed last night, and then it kept moving down. I stayed up way too late because I was getting giddy. Like, I was like, go lower. So from, let's just say, the first, let's say from just the first of the month, okay, Cardano has lost 36% of its value. Okay? That's crazy. That is crazy. And from this most recent swing that we had back in July, it's lost, that's a 60, it's down 62.87% from this high here. And then over the broad thing here from its all-time high, does not count. That is a Binance aberration. This is an 88.9% 7 loss. So, and this, okay, something you gotta like think about is that they always say cut your losses fast, let your winners run, and cut your losses fast. And the reason behind that is that, and well, I guess that doesn't really need a big explanation, but sometimes people can't wrap their heads around this. So let's say you lose, let's say you have $100 and you lose 50% of it. What do you have left? $50. Okay. Some people think that I just need to gain 50% of a gain and I'm back up to $100. No, that doesn't work, because a 50% gain on $50 is what? $25. You need to move 100% to recover that 50% loss. Okay? You lose $50, you need to double that to get back to where you were. So that's why they say, I mean, if you're in this market, if you're hodling, then it's not really a big deal. This is just for me, this is just a big average down scenario. Okay, so Cardano, went beyond the 1618 without really any strong testing. So yeah, this could have a violent drive. Beautiful volume here on the daily. Let's check out. We already have XLM. ZRX. ZRX is another one. That's one of the Coinbase 5. However, I don't hold a lot of this because I don't understand the point of ZRX being an important one. That and Zcash. I mean, I hold all of those Coinbase 5, which are Cardano, Basic Attention Token, Stellar, OX, and Zcash. But really, Monero's more of a... I have more Monero than I do of Zcash. So, all right, ZRX, really not interested in getting in that one right now. ZEC, not really right now. Go away, Ripple. Monero, yes, I do like Monero. I want to see Monero trade above this 4 hour here, though. I want to see it trade above 103.65. Although we should do the Bitcoin pair for that. Yeah, trade above this high here. It's a nice inside bar, though. Okay, so above this high is... Actually, we do it by the... If we're going to do the inside bar, it's above the bar's high. This bar's high. If, we close on this in an hour and 20 minutes, but, we don't have to wait for the close here. Got a kind of an active market. The high is at 0.016... So 0.165. 0.1635 actually. Is that what it says? 0.01635, yeah. XMR BTC. There's that. OMG. God dang it, this one got away from me too. Actually, a break from just... Damn it, I didn't even get the chance to... Oh no, I did have a buy-in. I just saw that come across my other screen. Sweet. Let's see, OMG long at 0.5. Lisk. Ooh, great underperformer still. Oh, what the hell? Why is it not moving? That's okay. Yeah. Although I could say 4.9 on that one. IOTA, don't like where it's at. Dash. Beautiful bullish pivot candlestick patterns we're getting here. Dash, I want to see it above the high here. That would be at, we'll just say 179, 180, 179.95. Reminds me, a good example of that 1/8 zone being a strong support area to watch is Litecoin's chart. So Litecoin, for a long time, ever since, well, I guess not a long time, but if we go back to August, mid-August, it's just been oscillating, even presently, it's just been oscillating around this 1/8 major harmonic, okay? And you can see that as we move farther away from it, it has actually suffered some pretty serious drives down. Litecoin, this is a gift in disguise, that, you know, where it's been at. When it got below 50, I actually, I wonder, I have to check my other account. I wonder if it, oh, I don't even want to look. Litecoin way undervalue here. We should see it catch a nice bid. Ethereum, what do we got going on? Moving up to 178. We're getting closer and closer to our major harmonic here. Look at the prices really gain a lot of momentum here. Again, this all falls back to the mirrored foldback pattern that we were discussing. Man, there's some shorts gonna get burned if they can't. If the shorts can't get this down, it's gonna be ugly. In fact, if we take a look at the shorts, here's the shorts. Bitfinex shorts. Oh wait, I think I had it here. Short BTC USD shorts. Oh, right there. Bring out to the daily. Yeah, we're near those all-time highs. In fact, we were trading at those all-time highs. When prices rally and you have a lot of short positions open, it's a lot of fuel to the fire, because people, their stops are going to get hit or they're going to get auto liquidated, and I think it is so dangerous. People who've been trading this market, by the way, this has been the ugliest. This has been the ugliest bear market for Bitcoin that I can remember. And Mt. Gox was ugly, but the thing is there wasn't as much institutional attention to Bitcoin back then. So, you know, certainly if Mt. Gox happened now, if something like that were to happen, that would be that would be worse. So the whole Mt. Gox debacle, that is a issue that happened, I think, at a good time, as far as it happened before there was a lot of ETF discussion, ETNs already out, and institutional custodianship issues being dealt with for and cold storage for these assets. You know, this is a very awesome what's the word I'm looking for? That was an awesome time for it to happen, and then this 80% down move has been a miserable year. It's been a horrible year. If you've been holding and trading cryptocurrencies, If you only got into this market last September through January, if you didn't have the stomach for it and you were lucky, you got out right away. If not, you have been in a really, really ugly time in your life. Because it is a brutal market, and I would be surprised if we saw something like this happen again over the next 10 years. I think we'd have to wait another 10 years. The thing is this kind of cycle, because we have a 10-year cycle now, this is a pretty standard behavior in 10-year cycles. So this is perfectly fine, and those of you who have stuck through it, whether you're watching this live or recording, those of you who have stuck with it in this market the whole year, you're going to have a much more easier time grappling the next the future here, emotionally and mentally. You know, you will have developed a much thicker skin, and in fact, I envy anybody who has gotten into trading and this is the first thing they've ever wanted to trade, or the first thing they've ever invested in. You know, if this is the first market that you've ever participated in and you're still with it, you are going to be light years ahead emotionally and mentally. Your trading psychology and maturity is already so developed, because you have been in one of the worst bear markets in recent memory. Again, it's worse than the NASDAQ. And this has been a long, drawn-out process too. This has not been a Band-Aid. This has been a very ugly bear market for cryptocurrencies. And we just need to... I'm just very, very envious of those of you who started off trading in this kind of condition, because your skin will forever be thicker than everybody else's. I feel bad for those of you who started trading. So those of you who started trading back here, you learned your lessons about buying at the top. People who got lucky and started to trade and got in down here, I doubt there are many of them left. I really doubt it. There were so many people who became accidental millionaires, or accidental, hundreds of thousands heirs, whatever that is, because they got into the hype early, and then they rode this all the way up and sold and got lucky. Essentially just got lucky. And I feel bad for those traders, because it sucks to start your trading off on a good note. That's a bad way to start. I think that's a curse, actually. But yeah, we have a great turnaround we can be looking at. There's a trend line here that we really need to get cracking above. That's what is currently acting as a little bit of resistance right now. If we want to use this one, we've already cracked above it. If we want to go here, a couple ways to look at it. Certainly looking at a drive up here. Bitcoin likes to fake people out, though. This is like a mini rejection. So on the long term on Bitcoin, we've got this head and shoulders pattern. Yeah. And clearly people are anticipating it to go down, because most of the shorting has been at the end of this right shoulder, but the neckline has not been tested, nor has it been broken and retested. So, a head and shoulders pattern like this forming at the bottom has a high probability of getting rejected. That's just what the studies show. But then what we have going on faster time frames, like the 4 hour, we have an inverse head and shoulders set up here. Okay. Trend line, neckline, and this is just that the break of it is right at this near this pivot, because the 13th is when we see that pivot. It's just a lot of things happening all at once. It's really exciting, and we're right above this short-term uptrend line. I mean, there's so much support right here, but damn it if there's not also, you know, we know how Bitcoin is. It can yeah, the volume point of control, if I zoom out. How far out do I have to go? I think are we sitting in the volume point of control from the all-time high? Son of a bitch, we are right near this time cycle. Oh my god, this is actually a huge breakout zone here. Oh my god. This is... I've not seen... Oops. With the volume profile, that is insane. I mean, from beginning of the year, or actually back in December, from the all-time high to now, I mean, this is textbook accumulation zone that we're in. This is where pros trade, you know? This is where we are, this is where we have been buying for the last while. It's it's been in a really cool zone. This is awesome that we are here at the beginning of the next drive higher. I wouldn't be totally upset if we actually had a fake out to the upside and we actually tested this long-term trend line here, like a flash crash followed by a quick recovery. That would not be such a bad thing either. Trap a lot of people, but I mean, following the mirrored foldback pattern, yeah, I mean, we're observing that the next move is a pretty impressive drive higher. And if we're kind of looking at the ratios don't have to match up, but if, you know, we say that this swing low here we trade up, it exceeds the prior swing high, so it exceeds this one, but not by much. So, I mean, we could be looking at prices moving up to 7,500 before it faces another drop. It looks like a 618 retracement is where from this high to this high. Actually, well, let's just look at it. Kind of a rough look. Generally, the Fibonacci ratios are pretty accurate. Yeah, it's a 618 support that it found on that spike up. So that'd be what to look for. All right. Any questions? Feel free to ask. Man, XLM's got a lot of power behind it. Nano. Getting what I want to see what the altcoins look like here. Crypto. Altcoins catching a bid, but most everything is still oversold. Not oversold, it's just in the doldrums. A lot of these ones are on Bittrex, and you know, I think Bittrex is going to overtake Binance maybe by the end of sometime in 2019, just because they're going to have dollar pairs everywhere. But I really don't. I really have a low opinion of Bittrex now. I used to be a big fanboy, but ever since that Bitcoin Gold thing, I really do not like Bittrex. And that has nothing to do with my love of Bitcoin Gold. Maybe a little bit, but it's just shoddy. It's just... If you don't know what I'm talking about, Bitcoin Gold had a what do they call it? 51%. I shouldn't put a pen in my mouth and talk at the same time. They had it wasn't like a hack. It was they call it like a 51% attack. It's when, you know, somebody gets control over half of the the blockchain, and then they can do what's called I forget what it's called, double spending, but damn it. Well, anyways, that was a big deal, and then Bittrex lost some of their Bitcoin Gold in that whole debacle, and Bitcoin Gold, it was traded on Bittrex. And so what Bittrex said is that they wanted Bitcoin Gold to, like, Bittrex wanted some form of recompense from Bitcoin Gold, like it was Bitcoin Gold's fault that somebody took advantage and hacked their stuff. And so they said that basically what happened is Bittrex said, pay us 12,000 Bitcoin Gold, or we're kicking off the exchange. And Bitcoin Gold, because it is actually the Bitcoin fork that has the most of Satoshi Nakamoto's viewpoints, in that it's very decentralized. You know, they don't have a whole horde of Bitcoin Gold lying around. They have it is a non-profit foundation to support Bitcoin Gold, and the Bitcoin Gold that they have is used to, what's the word I'm looking for? Promote Bitcoin Gold, and so they just couldn't afford to just give Bittrex money. So then Bittrex kicked them off the exchange. This is very much like, okay, I'm Bitcoin Gold, and I'm going to a house party that is being hosted by my friend Bittrex, and while I'm there, somebody robs both my friend's house and me, and we're both upset. But then my friend says, hey, by the way, it sucks we both got robbed, but I'm going to need you to cover my loss here, or else I'm going to kick you out of the party. And that's exactly what happened to douchebags. Sorry. Not cool. Altcoins still pretty heavy in the red, but I mean, a lot of it's getting reduced here. If we see Bitcoin and Ethereum stabilize or sell off just a tiny bit, but we see the altcoin market going up, that's a good sign. That would be a good sign. Looking at the current holdings here, what do we got going on? Yeah, we're still pretty bullish in here. Not seeing any massive reason to change direction. Cardano actually catching a nice bid, retraced all the way back up to the 618, forming a nice V-shaped bottom here. Litecoin, very nice. Bitcoin, of course, struggling a little bit here. Lots of people don't want it to cross that neckline. Ethereum Classic catching a little bit. Ethereum Classic, I want to, but not yet. And Ethereum itself, very awesome that we're pushing back up here, back into the arc. Tested that 181. Why did price stop at 181? Well, it's that 181.38 because that's the major harmonic level. Yeah. Don't really see anything else here. Oh yeah, Steam actually is got hit pretty hard, and I like Steam. I like Steam a lot. We'll see. I might pick some up. I don't see a lot of downside. I'm going to build a chart for Steam once we get done here and see what I can do with that. Anyways, rehash everything here. Like we were discussing right at the beginning, Ethereum is at this very important key zone here. This is the make or break level. Honestly, this is the Alamo. This is Thermopylae. The prices need to remain in the 181.38 value zone. Otherwise, there's really nothing below it to support it. Geometrically and harmonic wise with price, this is the final area that we would see things trading. and then it's a real nosedive lower if it cannot maintain this area. And actually, what needs to happen is it needs to get out of it. It needs to respond away from it pretty fast. And I don't mean fast like on a 4-hour chart, or really even on a daily. On a weekly is what we want to see a fast response off of. So basically we're looking at, the next, like this week, we should see prices trade either slightly below, on, or slightly above. That's fine. But then in the next trade week, prices should be displaying a very strong response up away from this line. If I see a weekly, if next week's candlestick closes close to the value area of 180, 138, and the last, 2 days, that Friday through Sunday trade is not supporting the price action, then I'd be very, very bearish. But otherwise, we just need prices to really hold above, get above, and hold above that 180, 138. And I keep saying hold above, but we need to just get above it and start trading the opposite direction. That is what really needs to happen at this level. So don't want to see it fall down. And everything else is looking OBKB. Oh, I did have one funky chart here. I just drew these rays here. These are from some important wicks ever since this consolidation zone, and it's just a different way to look at instead of just drawing a pennant or a triangle here. When you see these lines constricting, getting really tight here, there was there was no doubt that we were going to be facing some volatile activity here. But it's nice to see the buying here. Anyways, it's 202. Sorry, I'm a little bit over the limit here. I babbled a little bit, but yeah, this is a great, for me, this is a fantastic risk reward opportunity, especially because we saw the news, Bitcoin market worse than NASDAQ. Oh, this is great. Okay. Oh, sorry. I got to show you this article. Look at this headline. Cryptocurrencies are in meltdown. Are we about to see the end of the Bitcoin dream? That's what I hate about a lot of these people who write stuff about the market is, I don't know, just do they get an award for writing articles about the obvious? Cryptocurrencies are in a meltdown? No shit, Sherlock. Where have you been all year? Independent. Actually, I like the Independent, but this is dumb. It's the only currency in the world this year that has performed worse than Bitcoin is the Venezuelan Bolivar. That's actually pretty funny. It's official. This week, the crash of cryptocurrencies is now greater than the crash in high technology shares after the dot-com bubble. This is the most glorious news to see. This is so awesome. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that draws in institutional money. Because there are some people like not just, and I don't mean institutional money like professional funds. I mean like veteran traders or people that are given a lot of discretion in a pool that they manage or whatever, where if they're looking at just some type of noise like this is exactly what they're probably looking for to get in. Like, okay, I want to get in cryptocurrencies, but I want to wait for it to find a bottom somewhere. And if a whole bunch of news agencies come out with articles that the crash now is worse than the dot-com bust and NASDAQ's fall, then yeah, that's the type of news we want to see at a market bottom is horrible news like that. That is some of the worst kind of news that we could see. But if we're already at a market bottom and it's not selling off on that kind of stuff, then great. I'm smiling about this. This is fantastic. We have these beautiful market lows, great opportunities to get into things while they're cheap, and yeah, not a lot of downside risk. Another 20%. So, yeah, sorry, a little wordy there, went a little longer than usual, but it's 2:05. So yeah, Forex Lens folks. Oh, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment or two. That really helps with the whole, which I don't understand it. My other two business partners who do everything else that I can't do or don't want to do, as far as the whole. I feel like my job's the easy one because they have to do all the other stuff like managing people subscriptions, emailing things, and blah. And that's a whole job that I don't want to do. But that'll help them out a lot if you can like and subscribe, and maybe throw a comment in there, because that helps with the getting the word out, which is what we're trying to do. And yeah, Forex Lens folks, I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning. And for the rest of you, if I don't see you in the morning, I will see you tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time again for Decrypt markets. Thank you very much and have a great day.